Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the new season of Chatter Squadron, your weekly dose of Star Wars fun and positivity. My name is Tyler Bucks.
And my name is Logan Hansaker. What is up, you rebel scum?
We are back, finally, after a hiatus. This is our first episode of 2021, the year that everybody assumed would just be the best year ever.
Just amazing right off the rip.
After 2020. Has it been the best year ever?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Every year's the best year ever.
See, that's fun and positivity. We have our brand going.
Already right from the get-go.
Perfect. So like you can probably see on the screen right now, we're going to be talking about several things today. Once again, it's a new news show. We have KOTOR possibly returning. We have a Life Day book. Plus, this week
in Star Wars history,
brought to you by Tyler. So we're going to have a really good time, and we're going to be giving the viewers some prompts to ask us questions as the stream goes on. But Logan, how about you tell the viewers how they can win some art?
I was going to say we're also still giving away our monthly art, and you can direct your eyes right behind us to this art. It is called Take the Bait by artist Phase Runner, which is just about the coolest name.
I was going to say, what a cool name that is.
But yeah, comment on any of our videos this month that we release, and that enters you in a chance to win this exact piece of art right behind us. It gets sent right to wherever you want it.
Yeah, and that's ACME Archives Direct. We have a good partnership with them, and it's Lucasfilm certified and everything. You get your certificate of authenticity, which we have right there. Look at how beautiful that is. So you get that all official and whatnot. But yeah, so, and also you can support us by joining our Patreon at patreon.com//Chatter Squadron, not a backslash.
Don't backslash it.
Don't backslash me.
/ him.
That feels like a something your like mom or dad would say.
Don't backslash me.
Hey, you better not backslash me.
Because that wouldn't work. It'd take you to the wrong link.
It also sounds like something that you would say to like one of your parents, and they would think it's some type of like slang that they don't know yet.
Right.
What's this backslash? Don't. What are you saying? You're backslashing me. Stop that.
They're behind you while you're instant messaging someone, and they see that you've said the word backslash.
Right.
And now, is your child messaging the word backslash?
What it means.
This is what it means.
They're gonna slash your back.
Yeah. Your child could be a murderer.
So once again, like we're talking about your child possibly being a murderer, and that might not be true. So let's talk about KOTOR possibly returning.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's just get right into it.
So this is an interesting thing because we were already planning to come back with the new news show, kind of more about doing news.
Right.
Straightforward and making it fun and positive. And then during the week, we get this whole big rumor that has come out that KOTOR is returning. And the thing we want to talk about when it comes to it is, let's get to the bottom of where this came from.
Right.
And is it actually possible to happen? But first, this is an article from IGN, which is a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game is reportedly in development without EA and BioWare.
That's the title. That's the title of the article.
Right. Already, I'm a little hooked. So let's take a look. A new Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic game is reportedly in the works, and it is not being developed by EA or BioWare, the studio behind the original game. So already, it's like interesting. Where are they finding this input? Let's see. As reported by Video Game Chronicle, this latest rumor comes courtesy of credited Star Wars insider Bespin Bulletin, who spoke on a recent B.O.B. the podcast episode about this project that is said to be in development outside of EA, and that will never guess who the studio is that's making the game.
We'll never guess.
No one, there's literally no way to guess. Would you like to read what this quote is?
Yes. So the quote is, amongst my digging, I heard there is a Knights of the Old Republic project in development somewhere, Bespin Bulletin said. I talked to a couple of people. I also found out that Jason Schreier, a video game reporter from Bloomberg News, said that it's not with EA and will never guess who the studio that's making this game. So that's a quote from the podcast that all this seems to have started from.
Mm-hmm. We'll never guess who it is. Like, I feel like at this point, if we can't guess who the studio is that's making it, it's like a brand new studio. It's a made up studio.
Right. This is their first project.
Studio. The studio. Video game studio. The video game studio.
You'll never guess.
You'll never guess because it doesn't exist. So that's the thing. This is what
that is the thing.
Right. Yeah. the source is now us. This is who we're talking about. We did some digging. We did some digging on who the heck the BOB podcast is, hosted by Nick. I remember writing this down, and I feel so bad if I say.
I would say Murfacre
and Isaac Peavy or Peavy. They reported on this rumor in their January 1st episode of their podcast. After the report blew up, they responded to the rumor mill on their Twitter saying this: "People are still confused over the KOTOR thing. What I said was I heard from some sources that KOTOR is happening and that it's not with EA. That's it. That's the scoop. Anything else said on the pod is pure speculation."
Right. Yeah.
So while we kind of talk about this, send us some comments. Do you think KOTOR is going to be remade? Comment, and you can possibly win this art and possibly have your name brought up on the screen in a little bit. So it's at this point, this is where everything was cited. We were talking about the IGN thing where it says, as reported by Video Game Chronicle, this latest, they just reported on it. This latest rumor comes credited of insider Bespin Bulletin, who spoke on a recent BOB, the podcast. So what they did was kind of put you down like a source hole. It's like, wait, this person said this, and then that person said that, and then who said what?
But and then you go to the original, and it's like, well, we just talked to someone and said maybe, and it's just speculation. So it's like starts off with speculation, then they report confirmed, then they report that they reported confirmed, that they reported confirmed, then they report that they reported. It's just like,
So let's get the record straight a little bit. A podcast reported on a rumor and then speculated on it. Now other publications are reporting on that rumor and speculations almost like it's a fact. So this is kind of where we're sitting at this point. Is it exciting that this might possibly happen?
Yeah.
Sure. Is it possible that this insider source does have insider info and it could be correct?
Right. Yes.
Yes, that's also yes, that is also true. But the main problem that I have when it comes to that is I don't know if that is enough for me.
Well, and not only that, but here's the facts. Here are the facts. So we know recently Lucasfilm and EA ended their exclusive partnership. Exclusive partnership with that great sound effect. But it's not final. You know, they said in 2013 is when that partnership, I believe, was renewed, if not started. You know, the exclusive partnership, and so it was a 10-year agreement. So regardless, they said they're not ending that agreement. So it's going to 2023, regardless.
Yeah.
So I think in the wake of, because I know that big news story dropped a week ago, if not more, of EA and Lucasfilm no longer exclusive. Other companies are going to be able to come in and start making Star Wars.
They're allowed to see other people.
Right, exactly. So with that information, yes, a Knights of the Old Republic game could happen.
Right.
Every other game under the sun could also happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, is it?
So, okay. Here's the thing. I don't think it will happen. Right. I don't think a Knights of the Old Republic game will happen. They will spend thousands of dollars, right, to develop this game, to remake this game, to hire people, to get new voice actors, to do probably motion capture, because that's how this whole thing has to be done now, to do a bunch of these different things, have a story, people put it all together. Thousands and thousands of dollars to make a game that is already a game.
Right. And that has all this expectation now.
That has all this expectation because, if it's not exactly how the old game was, but just with a better skin,
they'll hate it.
They'll hate it. Of course, we're talking in generalities, but it's kind of the truth. Like they have this expectation for it. But if Knights of the Old Republic does happen, it won't be what the fans want, because I don't think they're looking that deep into the Old Republic. I think when it comes to going into the past, they're looking at something called the High Republic.
Right.
So we might get what would that be? KOTOR, which is Knights of the High Republic. And if anything, because if they want to spend thousands of dollars on a game Why not make it a game that will tie into their new books, their new comics, their new possibly
Shows.
other shows and media? Why
Right.
wouldn't they do something like that? Then spend a bunch of time and money on something that they might not even say is canon.
Yeah, I agree. I think anything that they would do, I don't know. I almost, it's hard for me. I almost don't want to do too much speculating on it, because that's how stories and everything, in the first place get.
Yeah.
Someone heard Tyler Bucks on Chatter Squadron say that Knights of the High Republic, and now that not that that's going to happen.
Well, no. So IGN hears this. Knights of the High Republic is happening, and you'll never guess who's going to be the main character.
Who?
You'll never guess.
I heard that it's going to be a Tusken Raider.
A Tusken Raider? Oh yeah,
yeah.
Really? And what's his whole deal?
Well, you just go through pillaging and burning villages
and stealing mothers.
That's
the biggest thing. How many you go around? You're almost like Pac-Man. You're stealing mothers. And then Klieglar's leg. You get his leg, and then the mothers run away from you.
That's the trophy. That's the end trophy.
Right, like the cherry.
Yeah, that's the leg. Yeah, that's how you.
But it's a leg.
And you can wield it as a weapon. It's like the ultimate weapon as a Tusken Raider. You get to wield his leg.
Wield a leg.
Also a trophy.
Heard
it here first.
I think the float chair business on Tatooine loves Tusken Raiders. I think they work together. Like, hey, you got to take off more people's legs to put people in wheelchairs.
Right. Yeah. Shmi Skywalker is the
Shmi Skywalker is the main boss.
Is the main boss
of KOTOR. You heard it here first.
And all right. Yeah.
Hopefully IGN is able to somehow get that quote from us. They have to transcribe what we just said.
And then yes. And it's, again, I love speculation.
Right.
I do. I like throwing around ideas of what could happen, not just even in the Star Wars universe, in every universe.
Right. But the thing is, you did listen to the BLB podcast, that episode itself, and you said they were kind of just speculating.
They were just speculating. It's nothing. And that's the thing. I know you're not saying this. I'm not saying this. No one's saying that, this podcast was trying to make false claims or anything. Not at all. They were just throwing around fun ideas and speculating and having fun with it. And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
The thing that we're mad about is the publications who are, like I said, with IGN, and it's not even really calling out IGN because that's just what you do, but making this kind of source hole, I'm coining that phrase, where there's so many sources that you can't really backtrack, but that's where we come in. We backtrack.
But then the title is, KOTOR will return and bring back your favorite Sith. Like, that's so...
Yeah, there's some other publications who are taking that. Like, KOTOR will return with your favorite Sith. Right.
With your favorite Sith. It's like...
And then you read it, and it's basically just...
maybe. Maybe that'd be fun.
It's a rumor. Speculation.
You'll be a Tusken Raider and steal people's legs. I don't know.
But here's what I have to say about KOTOR, the original game, is I've been doing this Star Wars stuff for years now. I think 4 years soon. And it has the most staying power of any video game that Star Wars has ever put out. Because I can't tell you how many times I've done anything, put out anything, talked about anything where, hey, we want Revan, or we want a remake, or we want, like, it's always on people's minds. So it's an incredible, amazing game that is this beautiful thing for the Star Wars fan base. However, when you kind of set up all these expectations, if it is remade, it probably won't be what you were expecting. It probably won't be about what you were expecting. They might, if they want to make it canon, say going back that far, they might change what the story is.
Right.
How disappointed would you be? So my thing here is, if you love KOTOR a lot, go play the game.
Play it.
You still have the game, right? You still have it in like Xbox or your PC or something. If you don't, maybe you sold it, you don't have it anymore, then I guess you do love the game so much. Like, if you don't have the game and you want them to remake it so you can just have the game again, skip the middleman and just play the game that you have. Now, that is kind of like dismissive to people, but at the same time, I don't want people to get false hope on something like this.
I don't think it's dismissive. I think yes.
It's okay, Logan.
I promise. My next news story is
more fun,
a lot more fun and light. But it's not dismissive. It's just, would you just want a reskinned version of the exact same? Because that's what people have said. It's like it might not be as RPG as it was, because that RPG was, or Mass Effect, the first one. I remember it was up and coming. Now, a little more into the action adventure type of stuff. So if they change that, it's the expectation.
If they just change how the mechanics even work too, and something else I will want to say, like I mentioned before at the beginning, will Disney and Lucasfilm spend thousands of dollars to make a game that's already made? The video game industry doesn't think RPGs do well. You can watch a lot of people, especially I think it was EA themselves, but hey, it might not be EA. We'll never guess who it is, but I think it was one of the heads of EA himself said RPGs just don't sell.
Right.
And that's what a lot of them think. So it's like, are we going to spend thousands of dollars to do this whole thing, maybe even millions, to do this whole thing that the industry might not even want?
Right.
Just a subsect. So, but I think if we're going to hold out hope, it might be Knights of the High Republic, which will make a lot of people angry, but at least your expectations will be set to a point that is kind of realistic.
Or the, like we talked about before, the new open world game that's in the works. You know what I mean? It's like, I know when digging, there's been interviews and interview with Kathleen Kennedy. It's like, that's one thing that I remember she said years ago is like, they don't want to feel like they're ever throwing too much at people.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money to throw too much at people and then have it not work.
Right. And also might confuse the general consumer of someone who's like, I just watched Finn and Rey, and then the new Cassian show, The Mandalorian and everything. And then it's like, this new game is set 3,000 years before all of that. And it's like, whoa, what? I don't know any of these people. So it's concerning. And I think the bigger concern is how quickly this was picked up by the rumor mill.
Exactly. Yeah. And how quickly it was picked up, and then how quickly it was like confirmed. You know what I mean? Like confirmed. I have a hard time confirming something until you hear it from Lucasfilms or StarWars.com or you know what I mean? Like
or I forget who it is. Is it like Entertainment Weekly or there's one? Variety is another one. When
IGN.
Especially Variety, I believe, when they post stuff, that is like they work directly with Lucasfilm. Like, okay, so that is confirmed. But
IGN is credible. That's what surprised me.
That's the surprising thing. So we put the question out there once again. Do you think KOTOR, easy for me to say, will be remade? So put the comments in the stream and we'll read that in a second. But this is the thing. If a lot of publications are picking up wild theories from podcasts,
right?
I think I heard from a source close to the project.
Okay.
This is a new scoop I'm giving you that Lego and Star Wars has parted ways.
Oof.
Yeah, big blow. They didn't like that KOTOR is being remade, confirmed. So they are now making a new deal, Star Wars, with Lincoln Logs.
Oh,
yeah.
Space Lincoln Logs.
Lincoln Log Star Wars. And you just basically make different structures from the Star Wars universe or ships and everything.
They all just kind of look like
a log cabin. Yeah, like a log cabin. But, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You'll be able to play it together. The only weird thing, and this is from a source close to the project, all the characters will look slightly like Abraham Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln.
Yeah. Slightly.
Beard.
Like him. But
Heard it here first. Star Wars Lincoln Logs.
Chatter Squadron.
Chatter Squadron.
So once again, put your comments if you think KOTOR will come back. While you do that, you might have noticed this weird chair floating up here behind us.
Look at it.
That is the tiny chair. That is the tiny chair of tiny victories. If you become a patron, or even if you do something really cool in our community by following us anywhere, we will put you and your name on the tiny chair of tiny victories, and you can be here on the set until somebody dethrones you. So check out our Patreon, patreon.com/chattersquadron, and feel free to follow us anywhere else to help us out and possibly get on the chair. Let's go to the comments and see what some people are saying. We're going to go to Jonathan Marroquin, one of our patrons. He says, there's definitely a market. I've heard a million times from a million fans that they'd love another KOTOR game. There's definitely a market.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing.
There is.
I know that there's a market for sure. the thing is, and this isn't anything against this because it's very true, but the thing is it a million fans saying it a million times, or is it 1,000 fans saying it, 100,000 times,
right,
or 100 million times, whatever it is, like
whatever the math is,
whatever. I listen, it's not a math podcast, but do you get what I mean? Like, is it this vocal few, or is it actually a huge number that? Because here's the thing: I like playing KOTOR. I like the game. I've played it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would buy it. I don't know if I'd buy the remake.
Here's the
you
thing.
Played it, yeah.
Yeah, I played it and I love it. I also know I don't want to bring up, I'll keep it positive, but I also know a lot of people were excited for the new movies to come out.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? That is just my, I guess, concern is like, let's say there's all these people that want it, but all these people who are on the same page of wanting it all have different ideas in their head of what they want.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? 10,000 people could want this, then the other 10,000 could that, and 10,000 in this. And so they make one game. Yeah. That's all, you know what I mean? You make one game to try to please everyone. But then you get the division not because it's a bad game, not because there's bad movies, not because there's bad anything, but because of the expectations from all of this, the pumping of these articles saying they will bring back your favorite Sith. Okay, well, what if they bring it back and they don't bring back Revan? They don't bring back the favorite Sith. They do the High Republic era. People would lose it. Yeah. Not because it's a bad game or hypothetically, but because of the expectation. That's my only concern always throughout all of this.
Let's go to Fitzpatrick's one. He said, or she, if there's a new KOTOR, I hope it's they don't do. Wow, I'm so bad. Would you like to read this comment?
Yeah. If there's a new KOTOR, I hope they don't make it a carbon copy.
I agree.
That's
the thing. I agree, but will everybody agree that, like, no, I want it to be exactly that, but look like it's made in the Frost engine or whatever.
To quote, like you said before, what we were covering, the podcast, I did listen to that episode, and that was one thing they discussed. One of the hosts on it said if it's not a carbon copy, they would hate it.
Right.
So
exactly.
Like, I love new content. I love world building, and I love keeping an open mind. That's, you know what I mean? That's all it is. That's truly all it is.
And then before we go to the next story, I just want to say that Jonathan also wants a Pac-Man game with Shmees.
Yes.
Yeah, make that happen.
We're making
Disney.
it. We're making it. Yeah. Where's that game?
Where's the Pac-Man?
Where's our Lincoln Logs? Let's merge them.
Yeah.
Let's merge our two games.
Exactly. You got a Tusken Raider's head that goes boink, 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 and he's picking up little blue milks or something. Yeah. And then the big ones are Shmees.
And then the final one is the leg.
And you have different colored Anakins coming after you.
Just swiping right behind you.
Okay. The next story that we're doing is Life Day Treasury, Holiday Stories from a Galaxy Far, Far Away. Is going to be released in September 7th of 2021. Logan, this is your story. So I don't know anything about this story other than that title. So Logan,
me neither.
go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, no, I saw this article come through, I think like a day or two ago. And I was reading through it. I thought it was cool. So I guess, what is Life Day Treasury?
I don't know. Tell me about it.
It's an in-universe collection of short stories that contain holiday-themed tales, and it's written by George Mann and Cavan Scott and illustrated by Grant Griffin.
Those are huge names. Those are actually really big names in the Star Wars novel.
No, it's cool, and I'll get more of that because I'm pretty pumped about this because of what it is, the genre of what it is. But here's a quote from it. Winter festivals are all about hope in the darkest times, about being surrounded by family and friends, says Scott. What is more Star Wars than that? From that's from Cavan Scott, one of the co-authors. Here's another quote pulled from StarWars.com, which is where I pulled that article from.
And once again, StarWars.com, and we're reporting on this as this is a fact. So,
you can research this. I mean, there's a release date and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I hope, at least, I'm excited. Now they got me.
Or somebody hacked StarWars.com and released a very convincing fake book.
Right. It's they should do it, honestly. It says, Life Day Treasure will be a collection of 8 stories centered around Star Wars Galaxy's favorite holiday, Life Day, as well as other holidays and winter festivals, featuring stunning paintings by Grant Griffin. The tales promise to span different eras while bringing themes of hope, family, kindness, and love.
Mm-hmm.
Life Day Treasury began with an idea that Scott had for Star Wars holiday stories, which ended up resulting in reunion and collaboration. And I just want to say really quick, if you're noticing any of these big names that we said before, it's because we did say them before. In our October episode, we covered Star Wars Dark Legends.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was our
Life
first
Immortal was the actual
story.
That
was our first episode of the live show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And that one, Kevin Scott wasn't a part of that. That was just written by George Mann, as well as Myths and Fables. Same thing, written by George Mann, illustrated by Grant Griffin. They brought on Kevin Scott. He is doing a lot of work on the High Republic era projects.
Yeah.
And had ideas for the High Republic era, and they basically were like, "Yeah, let's bring you on." And so it's basically like those 3 books will be
kind of together in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
Well, they're like you said, they're like in universe. They're like you could actually pick these books up if you were on Batuu or something like that.
Right, which is what I think is the coolest part about them. Here's another quote. This is from Kevin Scott working with George Mann. When I made the original pitch for the book, Lucasfilm Publishing creative director Mike Siglain suggested that we bring George on board, as he had already produced 2 wonderful books of Star Wars folklore, Myths and Fables and Dark Legends.
Star Wars folklore.
Teaming up made total sense, especially as George and I have had a long history of working together, he says. Who wouldn't want to make up Christmas stories with one of their best mates? Of course, our friendship was severely tested when I insisted on playing Christmas in the Stars, the galaxy's greatest festive album, on loop.
That's a thing?
You've never heard it?
No.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's like, I think it's as good as like the holiday special.
Christmas in the Stars? I haven't heard of this.
It's a whole album.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I've listened to it. It's like it's good. It's good.
We'll listen to it the next time we do notes.
Listening to it on loop would be a nightmare. So I think that's why this is pretty funny. There's a couple other quotes here just from them working together, that's why I thought this story was so cool, because we're getting new content, but everyone seems very positive about this. Everyone's having a good time working on it. It doesn't seem like it's stressful. It's fun. It's holidays. I mean, I'm sure writing a book is stressful. But you know what I mean? Like the actual process of it. They're working with their friends, which is...
You mean their best mates?
Their best mates. That's a direct quote.
Right.
Which is cool. That's what I like to see. Again, like I said before, in any universe, but especially in the Star Wars universe, with all these shows coming out, with all the new buzz and everything new that is coming, I like to see all this collaboration. Everyone who is a huge fan and a huge Star Wars nerd is getting to come together and work professionally and bring their voice to Star Wars.
Right.
And tell their story, a little sliver of the story. I think that's awesome.
So the question I guess we're going to be posing, if you want to put into the comments, that we'll read in a little bit. Would you enjoy reading this in-universe type of novel? So put it in the comments and we'll bring it up on the screen in a little bit. What else is there on this story?
We got a little bit of Grant Griffin. So Grant did such an amazing job illustrating Myths and Fables and Dark Legends, like we said before, that there could only be one choice when it came to the artist for the book. Mann says he is a true inspiration and knows how to bring mythic side of Star Wars galaxy to life. Now, I did search this book on online, wherever you could buy it, and the cover is just like, it even says like not the final cover.
Right.
Because that's one thing that we, I remember in October when we did our show on
the Dark Legends.
Thank you. He said that Grant Griffin said he illustrated that picture without ever even reading it or like seeing,
just kind of being told like this is kind of
so
what
we
it
know
is.
It could be last minute. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes.
But yeah, do you want to show the picture of what this might look like?
Yeah. So this is on the one tale. This is about the picture.
Right.
Dials back to the clock of the High Republic era, centuries prior to the events of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, and during the height of the Jedi Order, as can be seen in the above art.
Yeah.
Depicting a Jedi in a snow-kissed city, which this is.
Right.
Boop, 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 the above art, which is super cool. He talks about it a little more. Oh, here. Yeah. Kevin has been involved in the High Republic project since the very start, so it seemed like an obvious choice to set one of our stories during that time, and it was fantastic to be able to get involved with this exciting new era and to tell a story about Jedi Master Stellan on patrol during Coruscant's winter festivities. Mann says it's inspired by that classic Christmas in the City subgenre, which shows a different side of the pomp and circumstance of the High Republic.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it looks really cool. I should probably get it off the screen at this point, but yeah, it does look really cool. It kind of looks like a magic card. Am I too much of a nerd when it comes to
No,
that?
there's definitely some of that art. I feel like inspiration there.
Right. Yeah. All right. I'm bringing it back up on the screen
Yeah,
just
I want to
because,
look at it.
like, it's so cool. I want to know who this person is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, you know who it is.
Oh, well, what's their name?
It is. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, I'm down to the other one. Jedi Master Stellan. And he's
Stalin.
on patrol, and he's on Coruscant.
This is Stalin.
Stellan. I think Stellan. I'm so bad with
Oh
names.
no. But yeah, it looks really cool. I know we have another art piece to show. Is there something else you want to show?
Yeah,
Or talk about at least.
Here's from this next one. There's another tale guaranteed to melt hearts that can be summed up in 3 words.
Okay. What are those 3 words?
Oh, we're gonna see. I think their 3 words are Ewoks in snow.
Oh, so okay, I get it now. It's the way to make everything holiday-y is just put them in snow.
Just put everything in snow. Ewoks in snow, Jedis in snow.
Right. So what
snow
what
in snow.
what happens to all of our friends who are close to the equator or people who are on the other side of the equator when
They
it's
don't
like,
celebrate the holidays.
oh, that's a good point.
They don't
Yeah.
have snow.
No snow, no Christmas or Hanukkah or anything else for you.
Yeah, this is cool. So this is a quote from there too. I think the first line of my original pitch for the book was Ewoks in snow, which is those 3 words. Anyone who talks to me about Star Wars knows my love. This is Kevin Scott. His love for the furry little warriors, and this seemed too good of an opportunity to miss.
Right.
Both George and I are huge fans of winter folklore, and through stories, we wanted to explore the customs and beliefs that had developed on a number of worlds in the galaxy, including, of course, the forest moon of Endor.
So I kind of see, like, the first one that you were talking about takes place seemingly during the High Republic era, right?
Right.
And now this one, it could really be any time because obviously Ewoks have been around for a very long time. But let's take a look at them go. They look extremely fearsome. They look like they can take on anything except for whatever that thing is right behind them.
That they're
Tell me, is that just me or is that something right behind them?
they do appear to be running. No. It does look like a big old.
Well, it doesn't look like they're running. It looks like they're ready to fight. However, they don't know that
facing the wrong way.
They're facing the wrong way. But it may be an abominable snowman.
Yeah.
Is that how that's pronounced? Type
Giant-
of a story.
Do you remember giant Ewoks? Giant Ewoks.
Yeah,
That was a time when we were a quick little bit. Tyler and I would often play Star Wars and act out Star Wars storylines and scenes that we would write as kids.
Right, because side note, Logan and I grew up together. I've known him his whole life.
My whole life.
And we would play Star Wars in my backyard.
Yeah, and there was a time where we were mid scene, if you will, and I was imagining that I was trying to say AT-ATs, like the AT-ATs.
Yeah,
and I ran at Tyler and I was like, "There's giant AT-ATs," but I said Ewoks. So like, there's giant Ewoks, and he was like, "They're 6 feet tall."
I remember this now.
They're 6 feet.
They're giant Ewoks. What a yes and from me at like 11 years old to be like, what would a giant Ewok be? Just a normal sized human, basically. They're giant Ewoks. Oh my gosh, they're like here.
No,
I can't.
They're gonna meet us eye level.
Well, they're fierce when they're this big. Imagine when they're that big.
They'd be Wookiees.
They'd be short, stocky Wookiees. But yeah, maybe that's what this one is. It's a giant Ewok. When they get bigger, they get horns.
Yeah, and look like rock formations.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just putting a face in something that's not actually there, and there is no Ewoks. But like we put in the comments before, tell us what you think, or tell us if you would buy this in-universe book. Is there anything else you want to give tidbits wise?
A last little quote from our co-author George Mann from the book. The Star Wars galaxy is so rich and deep that you can tell almost any sort of story within it. And Festival Winter Tales are no exception, says Mann. These are the perfect stories to curl up with before the fire, sipping hot blue milk.
Right.
It's not too hot.
Hot blue milk. Oh, geez. Gosh. Hot?
It's just, hey, I didn't write it.
Does it come out hot?
I'm not George Mann.
Don't play around with me. You're not.
I haven't written several stellar books. But yeah, it started, Life Day Treasury, Holiday Stories from a Galaxy Far, Far Away arrived September 7th and is available for pre-order now.
Available for pre-order now. So get that blue milk on the stove because it needs to be hot by September. That's a strange way to put it. I'm going to be completely honest, George Man, but that's okay. Hopefully you don't see this.
I've never gotten the draw to warm milk. I don't think.
Me either.
Because I'm not a baby.
Because warm milk's for babies. I'm not a baby. No. I don't like babies. I'm not a baby. Okay, so like we said, we asked the question if you. By the way, don't feed your cats milk. They don't. It's not good for them.
They love it. Just contradicting.
We're the devils, the demons on your shoulder. So we asked, would you buy something like this? Jonathan, once again, being an all-star, he says, yes. In one of my fan fictions, I want to have a Life Day story where my rebel base comes together to bring some Life Day spirit to their planet for the Wookiee warriors among them. Life Day is a fun thing because there's not many holidays that you can really like build around. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not like you can just say, this is our Thanksgiving version in Star Wars. It's like, we only really have Life Day. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones, but this is the biggest one for sure. Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot of cool, there's a lot of cool room for exploration out there to have cool stories that also tie in with in-universe holidays because they would still have holidays in the Star Wars universe. Obviously they do. So why not show them?
Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland says, essentially, Empire Strikes Back is a Christmas movie because of the snow.
Because of the snow.
It's true. Hey, if you guys want to call Die Hard a Christmas movie to the end of your days, then anything with snow then is basically a Christmas movie.
Anytime you see snow, Christmas movie.
I like Fitzpatrick, which is Trevor. He says, Yub Nub Born. It's a good way. It's a good way to like bring a different thing. I like this. Flex Airsoft says there's definitely a giant snowy death claw there. That's great. That's tying in with the video game stuff we were talking about.
Right.
With Fallout. Death claws are very spooky. We're gonna get into our next bit of the show here, but we're going to go back to Sarah. It says, warm milk is very soothing at night, has something in it that makes you sleepy. Something in it, hey? So, there's a little special something in there that makes you sleepy.
That makes you sleepy.
What is it? Science doesn't know.
Also, I don't know. So don't ask.
Don't ask any questions.
Don't ask what's in that milk.
And if the police ask you, I don't know what's inside of it.
Wasn't even milk. We don't know.
What was that? I'm sorry. What was that?
No.
So the last thing we have to do for the show is going to happen in a second. But before we get to that, we have merch. Look at this. This is the real debut of the merch. Logan, show off your travel mug. You've been showing it off all show. Look at that. How do you like it? Is it nice and warm still inside of there?
It is. Yeah. I haven't used a mug with a lid in several months.
Yeah.
So I'm used to my coffee getting really cold within quickly. Like 5 minutes. And this was like an hour. And I went to go try. I was like, it's still hot.
Oh my gosh. It's almost like it'll
burn you.
And if you want your coffee to get cold, you can buy just a normal coffee mug from us. Logo right there. And if you want to help your fellow man during these trying times, you can get a Chatter Squadron mask. Look at that. A lot of people, I wore this yesterday. A lot of people talked to me about this mask.
What did they say?
They were saying, Tyler, did you hand make your own merchandise for your own show? And I was like, no, not this time. By the way, you never wear those mittens I made you.
Yeah.
What? Why is that?
My dog ate them.
Really? Well,
classic.
they were made out of Twizzlers. So but
he should have been eating that.
I know. You should probably go take them to the vet after this. But you can find us on TeePublic. We have the links, basically all of our links, especially in our Instagram link tree. So go over there, check the link in the bio, and you can find out how to get some of the merch. We'll be showing off some more of the merch that we have coming up. But what we have coming up right now is This Week in Star Wars History, brought to you by this guy right here. This guy, Logan, it's this guy. Logan, no, I know what you're doing.
Where is he?
You're looking for the
Where-
first. You're looking for the first thing in Star Wars history, which is January 25th, 2012. J.J. Abrams is confirmed to direct Star Wars Episode 7. That whole time period was pretty crazy, if you ask me. Like it was, it hit you fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like all of a sudden, hey, they Lucas sold to Disney. Like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And then you get the whole thing of they're making an Episode 7. Oh man, and it happened very quickly.
Yeah.
And I just remember that time period because of working with a bunch of other people who are very interested in it. And when they released the picture, do you remember the picture of the script read?
No.
Where everybody is sat around in a circle and it's black and white. I'll show you that after this.
Yeah.
But they released that picture and you got like the whole cast there. You can see like, oh, there's Mark Hamill. Oh, there's R2-D2 in the background, all that.
Right.
So it's just an exciting time. Whether you liked Force Awakens or any of the new movies or not, it was an exciting time for me, at least, of like, what's going to happen? Like, it just was this very interesting period.
Well, for better, like that, like you said, for better, for worse, whether I know people always have whatever to say about the new movies or the prequels or the originals or whatever, but it was that defining moment of that push to get all this new content that we've been seeing now.
Yeah.
All the shows, the animated series, all the all the new, the new movies, the new books, the new video games.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest excitement. I mean, obviously I was super thrilled for a new movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I always like all the extra stuff that comes along with it. Like even, we were talking about the book today. I love that they're still coming out with new Star Wars books. I feel like people nowadays are not focused on, but it's easier, with all the streaming sites to come across the shows, to come across the watchable, but books and all that extra stuff is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, I don't know, that's where my mind was at.
It struck a new era of just new content, which I was pining for. I know that
before that, it was a little stagnant.
A little stagnant, and we never knew if George was going to make any more movies. It was just, it was interesting. Anyway, I do want to say, Trevor in chat says, JJ was a weird choice for Star Trek, but a good choice for Star Wars. I happen to agree. I did like at least the first Star Trek that he did.
Yeah.
The next one, January 27th, 1983, George Lucas announces that the title Revenge of the Jedi has been changed to Return of the Jedi. And that was a big thing. I think the chat can tell me the main thing that he said was revenge isn't something a Jedi would do.
Right.
But that didn't stop the fact that there is a bunch of posters that say Revenge of the Jedi. Right. I have one in my closet of art and like that. Maybe someday I'll give away some of my personal art maybe. But once again, you can comment and still get a chance to win this art by Acme Archives Direct. If you see that, that's
take the bait.
Take the bait. You see the Mandalorian and staring down. What that is right?
It's a giant Ewok.
It's a giant Ewok, but no, it's a giant ATST. But no, that was a good change if you ask me. Revenge versus Return.
Sounds lighter. It sounds more Jedi. I think they was right on the mark.
It sounds a little bit more epic.
Yeah.
Return.
Yeah.
January 28th, 1975, Lucas completes his second draft for Star Wars at the time titled Adventures of Star Killer. We did a whole episode a long time ago, Chatter Squadron, I think just the audio podcast, about the first draft and the first story of Star Wars. Right. And it's wild. It is very, very different. It's almost like if Star Wars was made in an alternate reality, because there's a bunch of the same characters and everything, but some of them look different. The time period is kind of different. The names are a little different. It really is like you stepped in a bizarro world and people are like, I love Star Killer. And it's like, what's Star Killer? And you watch it and you're like, oh, this is like Star Wars.
Right. I think that's a testament.
Made by Borge Bucas.
It's just a little different. Everything's just
he talks more like this. Hi, it's Borge Bucas. I love Star Killer. He's gay. I love Star Killer. It's Borge Bucas, everybody.
It's in an alternate universe.
He just shakes his head all the time. And that's where Boss Nos comes from.
I think that's a testament to you just took yourself out of commission for the rest of the show.
Right.
I I think that's a testament to the team that George Lucas surrounds himself with and has always surrounded himself with. You know, he brings the essence, and I'm sure he brings the gems. But
I've always talked about it that George is one of the luckiest people in all of not all of Star Wars. No, of course he's the luckiest person in Star Wars, but the luckiest person in all of Hollywood. He just like happened to know some of the best editors, and he happened to know some of the best sound designers, and then he wanted to make his own studio because he didn't want to deal with other ones, so he did, and it just happened to have a major hit right out the gate.
Right.
Like it's just I mean, George Lucas, you can say a lot about him. You can say that I look like him, that I sound like him sometimes, but it could have all went wrong, but it didn't. Whatever he said at the opening of Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, it could have been a total disaster.
It could have been a total disaster, but it wasn't. Bob Iger's behind him, just like, don't say disaster. Stop saying disaster. Why do you keep saying that?
Just like kicks the cord out of the mic.
But it is there's a lot of if you don't want to listen to that podcast back in the day, there is a lot of good stuff out there to hear what his first idea of the story was going to be.
It's cool to see how things start. I love seeing how things, you know what I mean? Going back and watching even any show. You go back and you watch the pilot episode and you see the kernels, and then you see I love that.
Yeah. And then our last one here is January 29th, 2008. Lucasfilm unveils a new character named Ahsoka Tano. Who? Jinx, you owe me. You just like boom, punch the mic. But no, Lucasfilm unveils this new character, and it's like it's Anakin's Padawan, and everybody just goes, "I'm sorry, wait, what? Anakin's Padawan? Wait, what?" I think
who?
A lot of people felt that, and I think even people that did end up liking Ahsoka, because a bunch of people have. She's a mainstay now.
Yeah.
But just even people that might have been a little excited about it probably did go like, "What? How though? How? Wait, how? How does he have a Padawan? I don't know. Like, is it Darth Vader? Darth Vader has the Padawan, and we're just calling him Anakin right now. I don't get it."
That was my. I think one of my initial reactions, along, like you said, with excitement and being like, "Oh, what is this? What is this going to bring?" But it was like, "What?" You know what I mean? Because at that point, I know there's been all throughout. There's been books, there's been fan fiction books that have caught a lot of steam. There's been a bunch of different, what am I trying to say? Forms of content that have come in that aren't exactly canon. You know what I mean? They've streamed. So it's like, it wasn't like I was immediately confused of like, oh, that's not right. But it was just like, oh, okay. I guess we've never seen that in the movies. And I wonder how they're going to work that in.
So the question is, what were your first thoughts when you heard about Ahsoka Tano? Put them in the chat. We'll talk about it. I wanted to bring up that Trevor said a lot of fans at the time of the Clone Wars release thought Ahsoka was going to die. That was a good, not idea, but that like, obviously she's going to die. Here's the thing. Anytime you make like a prequel in Star Wars, it always seems like they're just like, oh, well, everyone's going to die.
That's but that's what it did seem like back then, because it was like, okay, we're going to show all these characters. Well, they're not in the old movie. They're not in the original movies, which technically happened after these prequels. So they have to die.
Right, they have to die.
They got to die.
And then Rogue One didn't help those people when everyone did die.
Yeah, they were like, so everyone's going to die.
Right. But that was
because they're not in it.
That was especially a big thing with Rebels. A lot of people were like, well, they're just going to die though, right?
Right.
Before episode 1 or episode 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, they're just going to die. Everyone's going to die.
Yeah. Why even watch it? They're just going to die.
But you should watch Rebels. Yeah. You've been watching Rebels.
Yeah. I've been like hooked.
Have you made it to when Ahsoka shows?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I think that's like season 2 or something. I'm like, I don't know why. I'm like, I'm so offended you would even ask. I have.
So yeah, put your thoughts of what you thought. Put your thoughts of what you had in mind when Ahsoka was first revealed. We're gonna go to Sarah from Skywalking Through Neverland again, and she says, Ahsoka thoughts. That's a really good question. I honestly can't remember. I'm not that analytical, so I probably just took it in stride. Annie has a Padawan. Okay, cool. Let's see where this goes.
Right.
I think that's a very, very important distinction to have. Of if you don't know something, don't try to know it.
Yeah.
Just say, okay, I guess that's what's happening. I mean, a good example of that for me right now is the whole High Republic stuff.
Right.
There's so many things that's kind of trickling in that I don't really have a grasp on it yet. So when I do see something, I'm like, don't burn yourself, by the way. When
It's cold now.
Oh, good.
Not cold, but
perfect temperature for the Chatter Squadron travel mug. But no, it's interesting to see new things come for the High Republic and just kind of go like, oh, I guess that's happening.
Yeah, keep an open mind.
Yeah.
I saw several new books when I was at the store yesterday about the High Republic, and I was like, I'm gonna grab those because I don't know a lot about it and I want to learn.
Yeah. And speaking of wanting to learn, hopefully you guys learned a lot in this new episode and the new news show. That's kind of what we're wanting to do, is look deeply into some of these things and just kind of chill, have a normal chat about it. So if that's something you enjoy, check the stream out every single Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Whatever your time zone is, you can figure that out on your own.
1 p.m. Eastern. 11 Mountain Time.
10 Pacific.
Oh, it is. It's earlier. See, I'm going to ruin it.
Right, 10 Pacific. And then I know it's 6 in England.
Mountain Time's earlier. Yeah, it's 11 in Mountain Time.
Yeah, 11.
6 in Mountain Time. No, 6 in England time. No, what am I doing?
This is a complete disaster.
No, we'll get this. 11 in Mountain Time, 6 p.m. London time.
10 a.m. in California, Pacific.
Right.
All right, so talking more stuff about the show, you can help us out on our Patreon, patreon.com/Chatter Squadron. You can rise the ranks over there. The big thing that we like to do is try and talk to people on our Discord. If you join the Patreon, you can get onto our Discord at any level, and you can talk to other patrons and us on there. We're going to be trying to play some more Battlefront with the patrons, possibly some other games with the patrons.
Squadrons.
Yeah, Squadrons. And other games, but keep an eye out for that. You can join us with $1, $5, $10, whatever you do helps the show out greatly, especially buying some of the new merch. Like I said, if you want your coffee to eventually get cold, get it in here. If you want your coffee to stay perfectly temperature
forever, it never gets cold,
get the travel mug. And then right here, we got the mask, which is really nice. It's double layered and everything. And I like the kind of folded design. We'll be showing off some more merch next week that we have here. We don't want to overbear everybody, but we want to thank our patrons at a specific level, the Commodores. When you become a Commodore, you get a shout out every single show. Like I said, you can become the tiny king/queen of the tiny chair of tiny victories, which is over there, which you can get a shout out, once, twice, or whatever. But if you become a Commodore, you get a shout out every single episode. So we would like to thank Commodore Marroquin,
and
Commodore Rayside. Hopefully we get odd numbers of Commodores so that we can do that nice back and forth and then together.
That works really nice.
Together on the last one.
Those names work really nice too.
So if you want to become a Commodore, get another person to become a Commodore with you, please. Thank you very much. But speaking of thank you very much, thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. Is there anything else we want to leave people with?
I want to leave people with a Yoda impression.
Yoda impression? Okay, go for it.
There, I finally got him.
No, that's it. That was way worse.
I know. And mine's bad.
I'll just go back to George Lucas.